The desert moons of Jorah, 7, were not known for visitors. Jake Sullivan had lived there long enough to learn two things. The sand got into everything, and no one came to Jorah unless they were running from something. His garage, a battered hangar stitched together with solar sheets, scrap metal, and enough gumption to impress a titan, was the last stop before open wasteland. He liked it that way. Fewer questions. Just the clank of tools, the hiss of coolant, and the occasional barter with scavengers or smugglers. So when he heard the sonic boom echo through the canyon that evening, his heart leapt. Not out of excitement, but out of instinct. Trouble rarely knocked politely. By the time the ship appeared, a scorched beauty limping through the dusk, Jake already had the emergency landing protocols triggered. It skidded to a halt a few hundred yards from the hangar, trailing blue plasma and coughing sparks. He grabbed his toolkit. She stepped out like a vision summoned from another world. Tall, pale, ethereal. Her skin shimmered silver blue in the twilight, her braided hair catching the dying sun like woven platinum. And her eyes, burning pools of icy calculation, met his with unreadable calm. Jake blinked. "Well, you're not the usual." "I require repairs," she said flatly. Her voice was smooth, precise. Not a tremble, not a hint of panic, despite her wrecked vessel. "Looks like your port stabilizer's fried, main thruster shot, and that rear hatch is barely hanging on," Jake muttered as he circled the ship. "Gonna be a few days." "That is acceptable." No protest. No haggling. Just calm, quiet agreement. Jake nodded toward the hangar. "You can wait inside. Don't touch the plasma welder, it bites." She gave a single nod, almost regal. For the next 3 days, Jake worked like a machine. Something about the ship intrigued him. Tech far beyond his usual gigs. Sleek interfaces, liquid wiring, systems that seemed almost alive. He kept notes, even though he knew better. Curiosity killed more than cats in this galaxy. The woman, she called herself Tara, watched. She didn't ask questions, didn't offer help. But every morning, she stood by the doorway, silent as a statue, cloak catching the breeze like a shadow. She didn't eat, at least not where he could see. Didn't sleep either, far as he could tell. Jake had questions. Lots of them. But he'd learned to keep those to himself. On the 4th night, as stars pierced the violet sky, Tara finally spoke. "You do not fear me." Jake looked up from the diagnostics console. "Should I?" "You do not know who I am." "Lady," Jake said, wiping sweat from his brow, "I've fixed smuggler ships with hidden bodies in the hold. Rewired assassination drones. Once even patched up a pirate lord's yacht, with him still bleeding on the couch. I don't need to know who you are. You pay, I fix." "I did not pay." Jake shrugged. "You will." That made her pause. For the first time, her expression softened. "You are different." "Lot of lonely people out here," Jake said. "Fixing things is what I do. Doesn't mean I understand them." She looked at him then, not with superiority, but something else. Something almost human. That night, Jake found a small metal orb on his workbench. No note. No explanation. He turned it over in his hand. A press of the button activated a soft humming field, then a blueprint projection. It was his garage. But enhanced. Reinforced. Upgraded. As if someone had reimagined his life's work through the lens of advanced civilization. He stared at it until dawn. The repairs finished on the 6th day. Jake stepped back, wiping his hands on a rag, admiring the seamless engine integration. "She's good to go. Better than before, actually." Tara studied the ship silently, then turned to him. "I owe you a debt." Jake chuckled. "Just don't crash land here again." These parts don't grow ships. I owe you more than that. She lifted a hand. In an instant, the world shimmered. Gone was the traveler's cloak. Gone was the subdued attire. In its place stood a radiant figure, adorned in a silver-black exosuit etched with living energy, her braided hair crowned by a halo of light. The markings on her chest plate glowed with ancient language. Her eyes blazed, not with anger, but raw, sovereign power. Jake staggered back. What are you? I am Queen Turlvane of the Elendari Ascendancy, she said softly. Ruler of 6 star systems. Heiress to the throne of flame and silence. Jake stared. Right. And I'm Emperor of dust and wrenches. She smiled, for the first time, truly smiled. You offered help without question. You asked for nothing in return. Among my people, such behavior is rare. I didn't do it for some intergalactic reward. I know. That's why you deserve one. A week passed. Jake thought she was gone for good. Then, one night, lights filled the canyon sky. A sleek carrier, black as space and silent as thought, descended outside his hangar. A delegation emerged, armored figures with banners and emblems he didn't recognize. At their center, Terra, radiant and commanding. She approached Jake, carrying a case. Inside, tools unlike anything he'd ever seen. Nanoforges, molecular welders, AI-assisted diagnostics capable of healing machines as if they were flesh. And one device labeled simply, Genesis Drive. A gift, she said, to rebuild, to create, to make this place more than just survival. Jake swallowed hard. I'm just a mechanic. Terra stepped closer. To you, this was just another broken thing to fix. But to me, you restored freedom. You gave a queen the chance to return home. As the carrier lifted off, dust swirling around his boots, Jake stared at the horizon. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like just a man in exile. He felt seen, understood, connected. A month later, they started coming. Refugees, traders, engineers, broken ships, broken people, all guided by whispers of a mechanic on Jora 7 who could fix anything. And above his hangar a new banner waved, etched with stars and the sigil of a braided crown. Jake never called himself royalty, but the galaxy now had a new haven, thanks to the man who once repaired a ship without knowing it belonged to a queen.